Have you ever engaged in a serious debate over which is better, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? Have you ever played Smash or Pass using only characters from Star Wars and Marvel movies? If you answered yes to any of these questions, we have the podcast for you. Listen to The Steam Gentlemen, the podcast where an expert panel convenes to ask the questions about pop culture and social commentary that other podcasts are afraid to ask. Listen to The Steam Gentlemen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Fans International Association is back. That's right, the premier fan club association of the 1970s and 1980s has been revived and is back in business. Join today. It's free at thewfia.org. That's thewfia.org. You can also join us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/WFIA 1969. Welcome back, everybody, to Chronicles by Fleisch 1998. I am your host, Brad Drake, and this is Extreme Championship Wrestling. Tonight, everybody, ECW is on tour. They are heading to the Southeast region in TEW 2020 here, and they are going to be at the SWISHER GYMNASIUM in Jacksonville, Florida. I keep seeing they. By they, I mean us. We're going to be there. And we have an exciting card scheduled ahead here. We have an incident with Gary Hart right off the bat here. Hey, Gary Hart organized the video game tournament, and he won it. So he's the man. All right, notice a couple things here, everybody. This tour is just an hour and a half. We're only doing 6-match cards. And our ticket pricing is cheap. So we're looking at around 1,500 people for this event. Let's go ahead and take a look at our card. Now, in real life, ECW was doing maybe one live show, maybe two a week. They were doing them mostly in the New England or tri-state area. Occasionally, they were traveling down to Florida in 1998, and they would do huge cards, like 8, 9, 10-match cards, right? Well, here in TEW 2020, to make things economically feasible, and you got to make adjustments because we're playing a game. It's not real life, right? We have a 6-match card, and our product caps us from having longer matches, hence why we only have an hour and a half show. And we are working all of the regions in the game and getting ourselves national exposure. So for us to travel down to Florida and get 1,500 people is not bad for June of 1998. So with that said, everybody, let's give our card a rundown here. In our opener, we're going to have the Prodigy, Tom Marquez, against Danny Doring. Little Guido will face New Jack. Mikey Whipwreck is going to battle Joe Malenko. For those of you that may not know, Dean Malenko was in ECW for a while, had a very successful run. His older brother, Joe, I've brought into ECW, does a lot of road agent work for us. Joe's older at this point, but Joe's still a very capable hand, and that's why I brought him into the ECW save. He would have fit in well with ECW in 1998. Bubba Ray Dudley is going to be in singles action against Tommy Dreamer. Bobby Duncum Jr. and Tommy Rogers will tag against Justin Credible and Jason Knight. And our main event, everybody, this should be a good one, is going to be John Kronus challenging Mr. Monday Night Rob Van Dam for that World Television title. So with that said, everybody, with all of that said, let's get to booking. And here we go. Prodigy versus Doring. Tom Marquez is in the mod is assigned to ECW here. I think it was a little bit longer before he came in, but that's okay. We've been using him. It's no problem at all. Here's Danny Doring. We're going to leave this one open-ended. I leave a lot of these matches open-ended because we're doing a leave them open-ended because these aren't the real matches they were having on these shows. And so we're going to repeat these matches down the line so we balance them out and do a 50-50 booking type thing for the live event tours. Very similar to what wrestling promotions really did. All right, here we go. Little Guido and New Jack up next here. 10 minutes is a pretty darn long match for these two, but that's not going to hurt anything. So here we go. Let's punch them in. Here's little Guido. Here's New Jack. For those of you that may not have lived the ECW era, it was something special. Let me tell you, it really was. You felt like you were part of a team by being a fan of ECW. It was a really cool thing. All these years later, watching it, I find myself cringing a lot because of the crazy stuff they were doing in the ring. As I've gotten older, I'm not much of a fan of hardcore wrestling, and a lot of ECW was hardcore wrestling, but there was also a lot of really good technical wrestling in ECW, and there was a lot of good quality stuff. So I still do enjoy watching ECW. It's just not nearly as good as I thought it was back when I was 16. Makes sense? Fair enough. All right, Whipwreck against Malenko. We're going to leave this one open-ended. Mikey Whipwreck wins like every match in this game for some reason, so I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that one. All right, we've got Bubba Ray Dudley up against Tommy Dreamer next. So I like to put it as B Dudley versus Dreamer. Here is Bubba Ray Dudley. And here is our man, Tommy Dreamer. And again, we're going to leave this one open-ended. It doesn't matter to me who wins. Up next, we have Duncum and Rogers, who were teaming sporadically at this time. And they are up against Just Incredible and his manservant, Jason Knight. Never dug that, never really got it, but hey, whatever. We're playing it. All right, here is Duncum and Rogers versus Credible and Knight. And neither of these are in an established team, so we'll have to hand plug them in here. Here's Bobby Duncum Jr. And here is Tommy Rogers. Tommy Rogers was excellent in the ring, and he was excellent during this time period, too. Here's Just Incredible. Here is Jason Knight. And this one, everybody, is booked. All right, here comes our big main event. John Kronus, big guy, moved like a cat. I remember he was one of the first guys I saw wrestle when I started watching ECW, and I was really impressed. Here is Kronus and Van Dam. That world television title is on the line, and that title really meant something in ECW. Rob Van Dam ended up having it for just about 2 years, I think it was, and that belt really meant something, and when he vacated it, it was a big deal. All right, obviously, Rob Van Dam is going to get the win here, everybody. This one's booked. All right, now, little trick for those of you on a tight budget like I am in this game. We have a referee. We have a road agent, right? Everybody's pretty much on paid contracts outside of about a half dozen guys. So they're on day-to-day contracts, so paid per event contracts. So you want to limit your expenses where you can. So that's fine that Jim Molyneux gets the referee, and it's okay that Gary Hart gets it too. But now we're going to go to every segment and make sure they're the same. And yes, I did sign Tony Garea as a road agent. So for 6 matches, they're okay. I don't know where it gets to the point where the referee gets tired and it's too much for him. But 6 matches, they're okay. So here's Molyneux, however you want to pronounce it. And here is Gary Hart. All right, so this one's ready to roll here. We're only 80 minutes, but that's okay. With our short matches, that's the way it goes. We don't need to be spending any more money by running 8-match cards. 6-match cards are fine. And again, our tour is hitting every region in the country, 3 regions per week, and we're doing great. It's working. Let's go ahead and start the show. All right, Marquez against Doring, and Doring gets the win with a double arm DDT. I don't know if Marquez has won a match yet, but that'll probably change the next time that these two get into it. All right, I was expecting a crowd of around 1,500. We only got about 1,296. We'll have to find out why. All right, Guido against New Jack, and New Jack gets the win with the 187, 42 overall for this one. kind of what we expect. And there we go. Mikey Whipwreck, of course, gets the win because he always gets the win. Now, see, I screwed this up. We're in Florida. Joe Malenko is well known in Florida. I probably should have had Joe Malenko win this one, but that's okay. At the end of the day, everybody, I really get into this stuff. I take it very seriously, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's okay. All right, up next. Excuse me again. Bubba Ray Dudley in there against Tommy Dreamer, and Dudley gets the win over Dreamer with that Bubba Cutter. 53, good stuff. They have good chemistry. All right, up next, Duncum and Rogers against Credible and Knight. And Duncum and Rogers get the win. Rogers wins with that Tommy Knocker 51 for these two. This is a low-scoring card so far, but that's okay. We're well under 450 popularity in Florida, so we're doing okay. Let's see how this main event turns out. Only a 59 for the main event. That hurts a little bit, but I bet you we still get a gain if we haven't maxed out our gains already in the region. Let's go ahead and finish this one up. We do get a gain, see? And we are going to give praise here because praise is good. So we're going to point out Tommy Rogers, we're going to point out John Kronus, and we're going to point out Justin Credible. The age of our roster is very young. We have a lot of promise. Van Dam's happy. Kronus is pleased. Justin Credible is pleased. Brad Drake is pleased. We're heading back to the main screen here, everybody. And in a couple days here, we'll be moving on to the Mid-South region, most likely Texas. We're running a card there with Sabu and Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event. That's a hot card right there. That's a hot main event. And again, everybody, as always, I have the majority of the score based on the main event. That helps when you have these developing companies like this. Yeah, lack of big names hurts us a little bit. Whatever, there's nothing you can do to control that. So, all right, and there we are, everybody. We have Hardcore TV coming up in a week. Remember, we record 2 episodes at a time, and we have the tour continuing tomorrow. So I'll probably record another show of another tour date, and we'll take it from there, everybody. All right, thanks for tuning in today. And for those of you looking for more, you can find it over on Patreon, patreon.com/PowerCast Network. Over there, you can find the 1987 Super Mod, the greatest mod in TEW. And you can also find all of our shows early and ad-free and so much more, everybody. Check it out today. It's only $5. It's worth it just for the spreadsheets. Hours and hours went into those spreadsheets. So check it out, everybody. You can find us over on social media, facebook.com/groups/1987supermod. You can also find us over on Reddit under the subreddit of TEW 2020 Friends. And don't forget, everybody, you can get a free membership with Wrestling Fans International Association today by heading over to the WFIA.org and just hitting that join button. Remember, it's free. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.